Constituent Assembly, a sovereign body. The roots of formation of Constituent Assembly and the framing of Constitution are relevant to understand philosophy and innovation. The Constituent Assembly was formulated under the Cabinet Mission Plan prior to independence. The election to the Constituent Assembly were conducted under the system of separate electoral based on the community. After such the election too, it could not be become a sovereign body. The authority was limited in respect of basic principle of procedure. The British government brought into the existence into the process of conceding less and retaining of the most of the authority and established counter strategy of to revolutionary rising. The Constituent Assembly expected to work within the framework of the cabinet mission scheme alone. However, these limitations were removed by the Indian Independence Act 1947, under the which it was made free frame the constitution it pleased. Evolution of the Constitution of India. Dr. Rajendra Prasad elected a permanent chairperson of the Constituent Assembly. It meets to December 9, 1946. The Muslim League members were not understanding the region and not agreed any viable proportion. The British authority were not to move to control or convince them. Thus, the initial days the Constituent Assembly could not deliberate or decided any considerable thing. However, the Jawaharlal Nehru moved to objective resolution on the December 13, 1946, and that was passed on January 22, 1947. It was the expression to the ideal of aspiration of the people of India and so the objective of Constitution. These fundamental objectives guided the drafting members in framing in the rule book of the governance of the new nations. This ultimate became the very significant preamble of the Constitution of India. After the independence, the drafting committee was appointed by the Constituent Assembly accordance with the decision on the CA on the reports made by the various committees. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was appointed the chairman of the drafting committee consisting Sir Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, K. Munshi, T.T. Krishnamachari, Gopal Swamy Iyengar. Sir B. N. Rao prepared the original draft on which the work of committee was the best. Several eminent personalities were elected to the Constituent Assembly through the indirect method of election from the members of provincial legislature. In fact, no prominent personality in the country was left out the assembly. The members include Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel, Maulana Azad, Gopal Swamy Iyengar, Govind Vallabh Pant, Abdul Ghaffar Khan, T.T. Krishna, Alladi Krishna Iyer, H.N. Kanju, H.S. Gode, K.V. Shah, Masani, Acharya Kripalani, Liaquat Ali Khan, Khwaja Najimuddin, Sir Firoz Khan Noon, Suharwardi, Sir Zulfikar Ali Khan, Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, except Gandhi and Jinnah, almost all prominent public figures figure in the august body. They were elected on the limited franchise, but they were also elected in adult franchise in the first general election held in 1952. The draft constitution was published in January 1948 and the people of India were given 8 months to discuss it and suggest changes. On November 4, 1948, the general discussion on the draft commenced in the Constituent Assembly and continued for 5 days. Then there was the discussion clause by clause on about 32 days. As many as 7,635 amendments were proposed and 2,473 were actually discussed before the third reading was given for another 12 days. The Constitution India adopted signed by the chairman Dr. Rajendra Prasad on November 26, 1949. The draft was considered for 114 days and the Constituent Assembly sat for the 2 years, 11 months and the 18 days. Initially some important articles come into the existence but the entire Constitution come into the force from the January 26, 1950. There is a criticism that the Constitution would have been adopted by the means of referendum as done by Ireland. Several old members of the Constituent Assembly were elected and other parliament of the state assemblies vindicating their contribution to the drafting of the Constitution and accepting the principle of inherent therein. Glenville Austin wrote With the adoption of the Constitution by the members of the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949, India became the largest democracy in the world. By this act of strength and will, Assembly members began what was perhaps the greatest political venture since the originated Philadelphia in 1987. Greenville Austin read with the adoption of the Constitution by the members of the Constituent Assembly by on October no, on November 26, 1949, India became the largest democracy in the world. By the act of strength and will, Assembly members began was perhaps the greatest political venture since that the originated Philadelphia in 1787.